Okay. Well, the caffeine is still strong with this one, so I still have more ruminations. I do a lot of ruminating these days. So I'm starting to get some initial comments about the Firetent online, and I think there's some fundamental misunderstandings in things. And that while the Firetent is like a product, it's really a new category. And I'll illustrate that by kind of the decision tree that I've had, and I think so many of us have had. It's like, hey, let's go somewhere. Okay, well, I want to go somewhere else. All right, well, let's go to a hotel. Okay, well, hotels are often in the city. Well, I really don't want a city experience. I live in the city. All right, well, let's go somewhere, we'll call it a resort. Okay, do you want to go to Seaside Resort? Okay, right, okay. Do you want to go to Lakeside Resort, river, desert, mountain, ski resort? Oh, ski resort, that's great. Let's go skiing. All of these require, significant travel and money, vacation time, etc. And they all involve buildings and asphalt and parking. And I'm in Phoenix. So let's say I wanted to go to LA and have a beach experience, let's say Malibu. All right, well, I got to find a place. It's not a challenge. I'll find a place. Okay, I'll pay $200, $300, $400 a night. Not happily, but that's the going rate. Or I'll do a VRBO, or I'll do a Airbnb for even more. I've got a park. It's going to take me 6 hours to get there. At least, let's say like 7, including parking and whatever. So that's all day in the car for me. I get wasted after like 3 or 4 hours in the car. I'm done. I have to recover. So then I wake up the next day and then I go to the beach and I walk around and splash around and scare the tourists with my white Sasquatch body. And that's a beach experience. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of driving. Oh yeah, don't forget to drive back. Drive to the restaurant. All this stuff. Now I know this is not like news to you, but with the Firetent, it allows you to have a whole new experience where you can have pretty much the same, not the same, but a similar safe sleeping environment, day-to-day environment that you just can't have otherwise. Well, what about an RV? Well, you got to drag that RV all over the place. And you got to park it, you got to rent it, you got to pay for it, you got to drive it, you got to maintain it, you got to turn it on, all this stuff. What I'm saying is that with a Firetent, it's an entirely unique experience. It's like an American safari. You put your camping stuff, a sleeping tent, all that stuff, kitchen gear in the back of your car. You put the Firetent in there, and you can pretty much set up and be comfortable pretty much wherever you would want to be. And yeah, it takes some work to set up and some cost and all this stuff. And obviously the headache of selecting gear that we've talked about before. But it's a totally unique experience. And I think the critical point is it allows you time at the beautiful location. So if you are an overlander or a four-wheel driver or even someone who just likes to drive for the view, like let's say from here, the Mogollon Rim, it's about 2.5, 3 hours to the top from here. Beautiful, beautiful view. Totally, you should look it up. But what if I want to spend more time there? And it's taken me 3 hours to get up there, and I'll have a picnic on the roadside, and look at the views, and that's great. But for me, after I've spent so much time in the car, I would like to spend time on station. I'd like to, soak it in or have it soak in me. Maybe have a campfire, maybe have, just a card game with the kids or coffee or a beer or a glass of wine or, something. Nice picnic. Well, the Firetent allows you to set up and to do that for an extended period in relative comfort. And if bad weather comes in, you're literally covered. If it's too hot, well, you have shade. And so it's a whole different way of doing it. And it's so comfortable and pleasant, it's hard to describe. Like if you've been in a sleeping tent and it's raining, well, you're in a small little tent, you're not wet, you're just listening to the rain, and that's nice as you're sleeping, or maybe if you're playing cards, but you want to do something. Well, you go outside in the rain and, you're in the rain. Whereas the Firetent, you go outside and you make a fire and you can have, your friends and family around you. You can have a card game. You can watch a movie on the iPad. You could do all kinds of stuff there. You could play, paint the camping rocks. You can have any activity you can pretty much want at the picnic table around the fire tent. And the same is true on a sunny day. If you're in a sleeping tent on a sunny day hoping to get shade, well, it's actually just an oven. And that is not fun at all, even if you had good draft. And so the fire tent allows you to have a safe space where you can, again, have a large shady area, like a base camp, like an open living room. And it's an entirely new existence. If I were to say to you, like, I love canoeing, and when I'm on the water, it's such a wonderful, magical experience. And if you've never done it, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Not no idea, but it's hard to translate that. And I think with the fire tent, some people are questioning it, like why would I even want to do this? Why would I want to camp if it's too hot? Why would I want to camp if it's too rainy? Well, because you can still enjoy yourself, and not just a little. You can luxuriate and you can have several days on station. If you're in a beautiful location, you can go for a day hike, come back for your picnic, come back for dinner. The kids can run off or do whatever. You can have, private moments, by yourself. It's even a nice place to bathe. I have a shower set up that it's pretty easy to put together. You can have some privacy. You can do it out in the open, whatever. The whole point is it gives entirely new options, and in my opinion, it's a new category of getting outside. And I think it's taking a while for folks to kind of understand it, because no one's really done it. Only nutballs like me who have put it together, or guys who have strung up the the blue tarp when they're camping. And the blue tarp experience is not the fire tent experience. The blue tarp experience is when you're hoping and praying that it doesn't cascade off one side. It's flapping around in the wind. It looks like a blue tarp, which is fine when it's raining. But it's just not the same. It doesn't have the stability and the hang up anywhereness. If you're looking at blue tarp options, which are great, I've used them, awesome. You need uprights, you need trees, you need wind protection. The fire tent, you put it up pretty much wherever you would want to sit down and look at the view. So I encourage you to, when you're looking at this, and if you've made it this far in the video, think of places where you want to be for an extended period of time that aren't, a hotel or a resort. And with a fire tent, you can do that. Like, one of my to-dos is to go to Sublime Point up at the Grand Canyon. It just looks amazing. And to have that experience for a couple days, maybe explore the North Rim, do a couple hikes, and have a nice base camp to come back to at night. If it rains, who cares? If it's too sunny, who cares? I'm covered. I'm like 10 degrees cooler than anybody else. And I'm not in an air-conditioned car or RV or whatever that is. So it's a new way of doing stuff, and I think it's going to take a while to kind of let that sink in. Surf my videos, look around, and just imagine, yourself in these places, you and your family. And I think it'll start to sink in that this is a whole new way of doing things. You can add it to your RV. You can be a first-time camper and pick this up, and you'll be like at the top of the class, man. No one's gonna have it, and you're gonna be living large. Funny story, last year at the Rim, Mogollon Rim, there was this camp that came in, and they had, I want to say, like 3 or 4 cars, a big RV, big, like almost 30 footers. And they only came out of the RV in the evening when it was cool. They ran the generator and the air conditioner all the time. And it was kind of sad. I felt sad for them, even though they were probably just having a fine time. But I was like, why drag your living room up there, your walled living room? I mean, why? It doesn't translate to me. And all the time and cost and all that stuff. Where we were chilling in the fire tent, a couple campsites over, we had the view the whole time. The sun would rise. We had deep shade all day. And we even had neighbors come over and hang out in the shade because it was too hot in their camper trailer, and they didn't have a way to hide from it. And it wasn't excessively hot; it was like 90 plus. which for Arizona isn't that much. But the whole point is it's a new way of doing it. It's going to take a while to kind of let that sink in. Oh my God, it's a paradigm shift. I hate those marketing terms, but it's really a new way of doing stuff. So I think the caffeine's wearing off a little bit, but the point is still valid. Good luck and good camping.